Uh, Very rosy morning to one and all present here. Today's our webinar topic is issues and challenges of post-COVID in production management. Before we focus on our webinar and discussion on the production management, what after the COVID, what are the challenges and what are the issues? Okay, before we just focus it, that the introduction of the our today's resource
Tommy,
person. The name of the today's resource person is Professor Hemkant N. Gowde. The sir have very vast experience. We can say that more than 1.5 decade teaching experience sirs have. Okay, so welcome to online webinar, Hemkant sir. On behalf of the Parul University, our Dean sir, Dr. Ajay Trivedi, Faculty of Commerce, and entire family of the Faculty of Commerce, I heartily welcome to you on this online webinar, sir. So, sir, Professor Hemkant N. Gowde has completed MCOM in first class of the Savitri Phule Pune University. He also completed NET in first attempt in June 2016. He passed GDCA NA, an American Business Law and Communication course in first class. Presently, he is pursuing PhD from Savitri Bai Phule University, Pune. He has excellent academic track record. He has overall 15 years of teaching experience. It means 1.5 decade experience in teaching field at BCom, BCA, BBA, BFT, BHMT, BSc course of the Savitri Bai Phule University. He has previously served to VT Board Phule, Pune, Savitri Bai Phule College, Alandi. He received Best Teacher Award on 4th January 2019 on the occasion of 20th Rashtriya Bandhuta Shastriya Sammelan at the hands of the Dr. Shripal Savitz. He is panel member of the Board of Studies in Business Administration of the St. Miras Girls College, Pune in 2017 to 2022. He has worked as a resource person for the NET SET workshop for a teacher students training at Nest Vadia College, Pune. He has delivered 3 sessions on online FDP organized by the UGC HRDC, SPPU, and KTHM College, Nasik on adoptions of the innovative methods for creating e-content, especially for the practical based subjects. He has also delivered expert session as a chairperson for the 2 national seminars, as a resource person for the 3 state level seminars. He has successfully the responsibility and assisted in organization of the 1 national and 2 state level seminars. He has actively participated in 60 plus seminars and presented 13 research papers at international, national and state level seminars and conferences. He has also delivered 30 plus expert lectures on various subjects in many colleges and NSS camps. He has command on the subjects like accounting, law, communication, costing, management, etc. He has undergone many training programs and courses for continuous knowledge updations. He has contributed to the corporate life and management of the institutions through participation in academic and administrative committee. He has successfully undertaken activities of the NSS and students' welfare as a program coordinator at college level. He is involved in various co-curriculum activities and extracurriculum activities for the students. He is always ready to help the students in academic activities like career guidance and career planning. He also likes to assist needy and poor students having a spark but financially weak. He encouraged students to participate in various seminars, cultures, co-curricular activities, and competition. He is very popular teacher among the students and the staff. He socially engaged himself in various activities. He frequently visits the often at the Thakur Pipri and Paligaon along with the students for celebrating the Raksha Bandhan, Diwali, Sankranti, etc. He has continuous interaction with the youth, villages, and police authorities to maintain the peace in a village. He informed the various schemes and facilities declared by the government for the students, farmers, villagers, and beneficiaries, also guide them for fulfillment of the same. He is associated with some social organization. He has worked as a director of the Jai Ganesh Educational Foundation, Pune. He also has worked as a consultant at Pune Jai Kalyan Trust Pune, he has worked as a member of PUCTO unit at college. Once again, I heartily welcome to sir, and over to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, over to you, sir.
Ashwin sir, shall I begin?
Hemant sir.
Shall I begin, sir?
Yes, sir. Please start, sir. Yes.
I hope my screen is visible. Ashwin sir, hope my screen is visible.
Sir, please start.
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
yes, sir. It's coming, sir.
Okay, sir. I'm audible. So today's topic is issues and challenges post-COVID in production management. For that, before begin, I would like to thank Dr. Ajay Trivedi, sir, Dean of Faculty of Commerce and Management, my beloved friend, Dr. Ashwin Kumar Patel, sir, Purvi ma'am, and all the coordinators. It's a wonderful opportunity. Uh, I'd like to focus on production management, but I would also like to discuss on the crisis management. That we might have heard that the crisis may come, we might be prepared for, say, floods, earthquake, shortage of material, but no one has thought that a situation like COVID can come, and it was totally unpredicted, and no one has expected that the factories, organization, even the entire economy will be halted for more than 1.5 years. So how we are going to prepare for this crisis situation, and how we are going to manage that crisis. So we'll be discussing this throughout the session. So I'm very much thankful to Ashwin Kumar Patel sir for such a nice introduction. So let us talk about the PPC, that is production planning and control. Now, gone are the days where it used to happen earlier, that whatever producer can produce, he used to produce, and after producing, he used to sell. But now the market is consumer center. That what consumer required, what are the test habits and preferences of the customers. Accordingly, the manufacturer, the producer, the seller has to take care of. So how you are going to plan all these things, what you are going to produce, how you are going to produce, again, you're going to set the budget, you're going to make the standards, and again, you're going to check the performances. So we are going to talk about the production planning and control. Again, what is more important, that how you are going to first manage all the resources. Most important resources are 3M, that is your men, material, and machines. Whenever I'm talking about men, material, and machine, it has been said that human resources are treated as valuable assets of any business organization. Your organization is not made up of building. It is not made up of infrastructure. It is not made up of facilities. It is made up of people. So right from your worker, right from your helper to your dean, right from your workers to your CEO, your directors, all the people, means it is very important that there should be a sense of belongingness. Then we already know that the quality in will be quality out. So the quality of the material is important. Again, the availability, the source of material, the prices of material, that we'll be discussing. And what is more important, that if the machine is not working properly, if the work get halted, the entire production process get halted. So you have to make sure that you're using quality machine. The first and most important thing which I would like to discuss is your linkage of production, stock, and sales. So you have to remember that whatever things you're producing, if you produce excess material, then it will result in blockage of your working capital. And if your production is shortage, then it will result in your missed opportunity. So that particular linkage we need to understand. So what has happened exactly? It was what was the situation before COVID, and what is the situation we are experiencing, we are facing, we are tackling the issue of this third wave. So was everything okay with before COVID-19 situation? So what was the situation? So we know that there is a close association with what I will be producing. If I'm producing something, then I need a raw material. The raw material will be purchased by the purchase department. Again, you have to see that the proper budget, proper fund is available. That will be sanctioned by the finance department. Again, whether that material is available or not. Again, what is the schedule of production? How much goods you are supposed to sell? What is the market trend? What are the demand and supply? So all these things are interlinked. So you should have a very good coordination between all such departments. Again, within the department and within all the departments are different organizations. So if there is no sales, let us take example of Tata Sierra. So that's coming. But if there is no sales for your product, definitely you are going to stop the production. You might have heard in marketing that is product simplification and product diversification. If there is no demand, again you are going to restrict. You are going to narrow the variety of the product. So first and most important thing, that production is very closely linked with sales. If there is no sale for goods and services, I'm sorry, you won't be producing the goods. So sales should be considered before this. Now let us take example of auto sector. Before COVID-19, what was the situation? That even in December 2019 and March 2020, we have experienced that as far as auto sector, I do stay in Chakan, and Chakan is in Pune. It is Asia's largest automobile zone. We have a plant of Volkswagen. We have also a plant of Mahindra and Mahindra and many more, Hyosung and all. So we are observing, even the Indian economy is observing the low demand even before COVID-19 situation, and COVID has impacted this particular situation to a greater extent. When we consider that what has happened after COVID-19, or what was the scenario, that we know that Maruti is rated, or Maruti is said to be a largest selling car manufacturer. And if we consider that in April 2020, Maruti was not able to sell a single unit of the car. Now, there might be different method how you are going to manufacture your goods. That might be some technical, that you can have a batch production, you can have a mass production, you will be preparing the batch. So what is your production technique? Again, considering that, the impact might be a change. So the inventory management, that there might be different stock levels. You can have danger level, you can have maximum level, you can have minimum level, you can have EOQ, economic order quantity. So how much stock you are going to maintain? Again, the closing stock how you are going to means you may have an opening stock of say raw material, semi-finished goods, finished goods. So how you are going to value that? Again, do you expect what are the speculation? Are the prices going to go up? So will there be any shortage of the material? Whether the goods are seasonally available or not? Whether the manufacturing process, like say example of a pickle, that the goods or the supply of raw material might be available in a particular season, but that might be consumed. The production process may take place during the entire period. So that inventory management you're supposed to consider. So this you might have different techniques, like just in time we are using. So let us talk about the cycle of production that we have discussed. First of all, you need to find that whether the raw material is available at what place it is available, how far it is from a production unit. So that is important. So whenever you are thinking about the manufacturing, so to manufacture the goods, you need to have that particular raw material. So whenever you are manufacturing, you have to make sure that unless and until you have the raw material, again, the raw material or the purchase of raw material depends on whether the fund is available with the business or not. So again, whenever you are talking about the manufacturing, it is not only the raw material. So there are many such items that are to be considered. We may have direct material, we may have also indirect material, we may have packing material also. So all these things should be considered, that what type of goods you will be requiring for manufacturing. Then when we go to next step, that is work in progress, that is how we consider that we have input, the inputted process, and after processing it becomes finished goods. But during the main course, it is in work in progress. So work in progress should be considered. When we manufacture the goods, that the goods is stored, that has been stocked, and this particular stock, depending on the sale, depending on the demand in the market, you sell. Now it happened that if you are producing excess stock, if the stock is excess, it will not be sold in the market. If you cannot sold that particular, that will result in that whatever capital you'll be having, I'm not talking about the fixed capital, I'm talking about the working capital. So this working capital will not be available. So you have to consider there should be continuous interaction, that what are the demand for the goods and services, and considering the demand you should manufacture. So there is linkage between your sales, between your demand, and what quantities, or in what quantities you are going to manufacture. Now, unless and until you sell, the fund cannot be available. If the fund is available, then of course you can purchase the next raw material. If the fund is not available, then you cannot purchase the material. So the cycle keeps moving. If my capital get blocked, definitely the fund will not be available. And if the fund is not available, the next process is halted. Again, if it happens that there is a shortage production, so if the production is shortest, definitely I'm going to miss the opportunity. The opportunity cost I'll be missing, so that no one can compensate. So you have to consider the cycle of production. Again, we have already discussed that not only this, but there should be linkage between whether the finance is available or not, then the source of raw material, where it is, again, what is the policy of the management. All these things are interlinked. Now, what are the issues with 3M? What has happened exactly after the lockdown? Hope till now everything is going fine. Can someone update me? My voice
No,
presentation, is everything okay?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you
It's
so
okay, sir.
Thank you so much. So let us discuss that what exactly happened. We know that what are the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. But here, BPC, you're planning the production, and you will be having your actual result, and you will be managing, you will be having the controlling tool, that what was expected, what has actually happened, and considering the actually happened and the what was expected, you'll be comparing, and after comparison you will be taking the corrective action. So that is your controlling. So we are going to discuss about the material, men, and machine, that how COVID has impacted on all these three factors. There might be many other factors, but here we are going to talk about 3M, that is material, men, and machine. Now let us discuss the issues or crisis that is material. Now what happened, that the goods was not available, because you know that in the initial phase the production process was halted. Even there was shortage of raw material. Again, the transportation was barred. So people were not able to move, and that has impacted on the availability of the goods. So goods were not available. Now it happened that there might be some raw material or some specific part that are not available, as we are facing that with microprocessor. There is high demand for in the automobile sector or in cars, but that particular goods or specific part is not available. So if such part is not available, or specific goods are not available, the entire production is halted, because there might be many such components that are to be clubbed together, and your final product is produced. So if a specific part is not available, the raw material is available, your production process could not be smooth. Transportation, we also that as far as transportation is considered, that in the initial phase, now the transportation is allowed, but earlier the transportation was halted. Now government may think to restrict the transportation. So if this transportation doesn't work, then definitely the production process or that is going to impact on the material. Then import. We know that we cannot manufacture each and everything. We are dependent on the imports. So if there are some restriction on cargo, if there are some restriction on planes, then particular that import doesn't work. So each and every country may have its own rules and regulation considering COVID. So if the imports are banned, or if that particular country doesn't allow exports, then definitely some kind of goods, the manufacturing process. Now there might be some indirect material. We have seen in that there might be some oil, gas, crude oil, even grease, and many other things. So if this indirect, even if happen, that material is available, raw material is available, but indirect material is not available. So if the indirect material is not available, again your production process is the packing. We have discussed that the packing material is very important. If the packing material is not available, your production process is ready, but whenever you're going to deliver that particular goods to the final consumer, you're going to wrap it in the attractive packing. So this packing material is not available. We know that as far as cold drink. cold drink and all these things are concerned, you may have a Tetra Pak, some kind of packing. Again, as far as heavy machines are concerned, we use box packing for that. So if that particular packing material is not available, all the components of material is available, but the packing material is not available, the nails are not available, the packing strips are not available, then you cannot deliver that particular goods. You might have heard about, as far as many computer processors are concerned, firstly we used to give in the separate packing, but now you get it in loose. So there might be issue with the packing material also. Now let us talk about the most vital that is part, that is M2, that is men. As far as people are concerned, in an industry, we require skilled people, we require unskilled people, and it used to happen many a times that there might be some specialized staff performing some specialized work, and if that particular staff is in containment zone, if is not allowed to move, and he cannot, again it may not happen with manufacturing sector that you cannot have a work from home. I can manufacture the thing from home. In IT, in service industry, that can happen, but here in men, as far as manufacturing is concerned, we require a specialized people, we require a skilled people to manufacture the goods. We have seen that many people have moved to their native place. They are not aware that for how much time your lockdown is going to continue. So people are not available. There is availability is an issue. Again, there is restriction on movement. We have seen in the during COVID period that people means who are COVID fighters or who are in medical services, they are allowed to move. Government officer, they are allowed to move. But as far as other people or common people are concerned, there are many restrictions on the movement of people. So if it happens, if people are not allowed to move, if there are some restriction on the movement, they cannot come to the workplace. And if they cannot come to the workplace, definitely your manufacturing process is going to happen, going to halt. We have seen that, we have experienced that shortage for many goods. Why? Because again, this issue we have seen that there were many migrated labor, there were many out-of-state workers, and the major source of unskilled, see that there can be a skilled labor, unskilled labor. So as far as unskilled labor is concerned, there might be helper, there might be assistant to workers. So this unskilled labor, see that people always consider the health first. The situation what has happened in major cities or metros where the industrialization has taken place. So the situation is going to worse if we consider even the situation over in Pune and Mumbai. The situation becomes worse, and if it happens, unskilled workers, that thinks that we should migrate, we should go to our native place, and if unskilled laborers are not available, though the skilled people are available, the raw material is available, if the unskilled labor are not available, your production process could not be completed. It happened that slowly the ban was, the restrictions were imposed, and after imposing the restriction, it was loosened. But it happened that states may have their own rules and regulations, states may have their own restrictions, and as far as returns of people are concerned, people or this unskilled people, they were not able to return to the factories, and that halted the production process. We have seen that there are some kind of industries where labor intensive industries, construction industry or iron and steel industry that are dependent on migrant labor. So if this migrant labors are not available, if this unskilled labor is not available, your production process or the entire system gets collapsed. We have seen that lakhs of labor, lakhs of people, Maharashtra, due to unemployment, because you're not being allowed to go anywhere, and if it happens that you may have your daily expenses, and if you have to incur your daily expenses, you're not getting anything. If you're suffering from unemployment, definitely you're going to go to your native place. As far as local force was allowed, there was it happened that in if you are living in that particular city, if there are in particular locality, if the COVID cases are less, then you're supposed to or you're allowed to move. But with few people's, the production activity means if the supervisor is there, worker is not there. If the worker is there, plant manager cannot come. If the plant manager is there, again the production manager could not come. So we require coordination of all the people. We require support of all the people. So if someone is missing, definitely it is going to impact on your manufacturing process. And we have already discussed that manufacturing is an activity, production is an activity. You cannot have a work from home for this activity. Now let us take example of machines. It happened that a few industries face there was shortage of lubrication, there was shortage of grease and oiling. So if that doesn't happen, if machine is not properly lubricated, or it is oil, or proper maintenance is not done, then it may happen that that particular machine gets, and if it happen, that machine cannot work. We require people, continuous repairs and maintenance goes on. We require expert people for repairing all such machineries. So if that people are not allowed to come, that people there are some restriction on the movement, then they cannot come, and you cannot have your day-to-day repairs and maintenance of the machinery. There might be some crane, hoist, or conveyor belts that are used mostly in the manufacturing activity. So if there is some breakdown, if there are some regular maintenance, or if there are some regular repairs, so this lubrication or the skillful people that are available, that cannot work. Now, as far as heavy industries are concerned, heavy industries use boilers, and there are some boilers that if you're going to start your manufacturing process today, you have to start that particular boiler say 15 days ago or 1 month ago. So it is not for heating up, the boiler may require 15 days to 1 month. So it is not possible for industry, if the lockdown is imposed, boiler gets started today, and again after 10 days you have to close. So even if I want to manufacture or if I want to start my manufacturing process today, I have to start my boiler 15 days or a month ago. So if you're not sure that when this lockdown will be, the restriction will be imposed, when it will be lifted, then you cannot have this manufacturing process. Now, there might be some other issues which we need to focus. It happens that not each and every part, each and every component is been manufactured by the industry. In costing, we have to consider the make or buy decisions, whether we are going to make each and everything, or whether we are going to buy. What is the cost that will be incurred on buying of the goods, and what will be the cost that will be incurred on making of the goods. If the making cost is more, definitely the industry depends on their vendors. So if you outsource the work, if you're outside at the activity, it means, for example, if I'm a furniture manufacturer, I may directly get my components ready and I may assemble the goods. If I'm an auto manufacturer, I may get components, I may manufacture the engine of the car, and the other part might be outsourced to the vendor. So if there are issues with the vendor, then definitely you may have vendors, sub-vendors, and the list may go to 20 or 30 levels also. It may happen that the assembly work is concerned that you have to assemble the goods, that you're not manufacturing, you're only assembling. So in assembling, the issues appear. Now it happened that in manufacturing, that when you manufacture, for example, let us take example of a car. When you cut the sheet in the pieces, you have to weld that. After welding, then you have to paint it. So if the painting material is not available, or if the welding material is not available, or you cannot weld that particular car, then it happens that the output, that is when the car gets ready, if the shape is ready, then you get it for painting. So output of that particular shape becomes input for your painting. If the painting is not done, the next process cannot be completed. So even if there was an issue with a particular process, the second process was halted. We know that to manufacture a particular things, we may use thousands of parts. So if that 1,000 parts are available, if the 99 parts are available, and even if the one screw or one part, what component is not available, you cannot continue your manufacturing process. So it happened that the entire process was stopped due to COVID-19, or there were issues with a specific material, and the manufacturing process could not be completed. No, was everything okay? Was all is well before COVID-19? No, everything was not okay. Now let us see what was the situation before COVID-19. Now, according to Professor Jairam, operations of SEM at Bhavan's SBGIN, as far as manufacturing industry, you cannot ignore the role, you cannot ignore the contribution of manufacturing sector. Whatever GDP, whatever GDP India have, 20% of the GDP has been contributed by the manufacturing industry. Again, as far as this manufacturing industry is concerned, out of that 20%, 50% is contributed by the auto industry. So that is a huge share. So you can say that almost 10% of the entire GDP of the nation has been contributed by the auto sector. So if it is such, and we have already seen that your manufacturing activity or production is an activity that you cannot have work from home. You have to come over there physically and you have to have the activities daily. Before lockdown, we have experienced the issues, low demand in the auto industry. And when the lockdown was imposed, again, there was shortage of the material, again, the people were not available. And further it happened that even the automobile sector was in problem, was facing some issues, even lockdown, even before COVID-19. And after COVID-19, the situation has become worse. Before COVID-19, industry has experienced that as far as sales, as far as demand for the goods, demand for the automobile sector is concerned, it has already gone down by more than 15%. And even after COVID-19, the situation became worse. There was a production cost, and whatever order, even in India, in abroad, the automobile sector was receiving, the orders, there was a production cut as the orders were less, and that particular size was 5 to 10% or even more. What happened after COVID-19? Now we know that government imposed a ban on movement, and employees, they were not able to come to the factory. They stopped coming to the work, and that increase or the load, the scale of operation, the entire volume, the entire quantum of the production was reduced. Now, when it was reduced, that adversely affected on the manufacturing. Again, the quality was affected, quantity was affected, and when it happened, it may happen that some expenses, they might be in fixed nature. So even if you manufacture or not, say, let us take example of rent, whatever is the quantum, whatever is the volume of the production, that your cost is going to remain fixed. So overall, the production cost, the volume, even if the volume is less, the production cost is going to remain same, and that lead to increase in the cost of the products. Again, the turnover was adversely affected. People were restricted, and they were thinking about the necessity only. No one was thinking of the luxury goods and other goods. So it adversely affected on the turnover. Even the unemployment was there, sufficient funds were not available, and due to that, people were considering only necessity. Again, as far as logistics are concerned, when the goods are manufactured, it becomes ready, and after it has been delivered to the final consumer, so the logistics system was hampered. The transportation was facing issue. There was issues with loading and unloading, carrying up the goods. So the entire means there is interlinkage between all such things. Means even if you have material, if you have labor, but there might be problem with the transportation, or there might be problem with some other component. Now, what happened after COVID-19? We have already seen that the situation was not fine. Situation was not okay before COVID, but even after COVID, the factories were in the initial phase. Government imposed the ban. Factories were closed. There was movement on there was restriction on the movement, and the entire production process was halted due to such restriction. Migrant labor, we have seen. We might have seen this picture, because see that you have to incur your daily expenses. You're coming, you're migrating for your bread and butter, and if you're not getting that bread and butter, and still you're supposed to incur your daily expenses, definitely it happened that you have to move to your native place. So that happened with the migrant labor. Thousands and lakhs of people, they migrated to their. Now, how this COVID-19 has impacted on the employment? We have observed that as far as unemployment rate is concerned, it rose to 23.4, means almost 1/4 unemployment. A survey was conducted by a Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, and as per that CMIE report, that is of March and April. So that unemployment in urban areas, it was 8.21%, and if you look over here, that is as far as April is concerned, the unemployment rate, it was 30.93, that was almost 31%. So we can say that after COVID-19, the unemployment, which was 8.21 in March, that if you consider the April 2020, the situation was becoming worse. Many people have lost their jobs. The urban, as far as urban unemployment is concerned, the situation was not very good. The overall rate was 23.4%. CM's estimate unemployment shot to 8.4%, and mid-March we have seen that it was 23%. Now, as per Pranab Sen, who is a former chief statistician of India, and he has made some basic calculation and rough calculation. He has predicted that it may happen that as far as unemployment is concerned, that 50 million people might have lost the job. Now, we may not have the correct figures. Even after the lockdown was imposed in 2 weeks, 50 million, that is a very huge size. 50 million people might have lost that particular job. If we consider the US workers, the 10 million US workers filed unemployment claims in the fortnight. We're not going to consider much. The CI survey, CI survey was conducted, and 200 CEOs were surveyed, and they were considering that 52% they foresee the job loss, 47 expected the job cuts to be less than 70%, 15%. It is a KPMG, that a global think tank, and industry-wise, they have considered the unemployment statistics. So they think that 38 million or 70% jobs are at risk in tourism industry, because there is a restriction, and if there is restriction, then tourism industry is going to suffer. Textile chain, there might be a 10 million job loss, and if there's no government-driven stimulation packages, as far as these casual workers are concerned, underwritten contracts are concerned, the total job loss may be 136 million, and that might be at risk. Now, if we consider the sector-wise impact of COVID-19, we'll skip this. This is manufacturing only we'll consider. As far as this manufacturing or production is concerned, this particular effect is 76%. Impact of agriculture will skip. Now, what was the impact of lockdown? Now, the figures are here that as far as manufacturing is concerned, the manufacturing activities were swing, and the PMI was 30.8. Now, industries were getting very hard in May 2020, that as far as recovery is concerned, how to recover from this crisis situation. The demand was lower, the raw material cost has gone up, there is no transportation, and each and everything is hampered. And again, there are some fixed expenses that you are supposed to incur, and that was a worse situation. And this uncertainty, you never know that when you will be coming out of that pandemic situation. And if this happens, this is your index of production, and if you consider here April 20, from this 140 it has gone down, and these are the statistics by investment bank Goldman Sachs, and that has predicted that 40% of economic decline in this 3 months, that is from April to June 2000, that the entire economic decline will be 45%. Rating agency Moody's, they has slashed India's ranking to the lowest level on the investment grade level. Now, what is the government support? What government is doing for the industry? We know that our Prime Minister has declared a package of $266 billion for supporting the industry. As far as fiscal and monetary measures are concerned, that are said to worth around 10% of India GDP. Now, economics believe how we are going to come out of this particular situation. That will only package serve. That package might be small. That package might be very less. And only package. Does that package is going to boost your industrial growth? So that is not going to happen. So government has to think very seriously. Even at micro level, it has to think. The small part of planned government spending, that has to be considered. You have to reduce the cost, and you have to take necessary steps for, if you want to come out of that particular situation. See that you don't consider about the particular manufacturer. You have to consider the country. There might be some labors that are dependent on your industry. Again, there might be some vendors, suppliers, they are interlinked. Now, when the lockdown was restricted, when the unlock was declared, the government has set the priorities, that on priority basis, on which sectors we are going to loosen the restrictions. So in the initial stage, stage one, the essential goods and services, the restriction was relieved. Again, there might be some labor intensive industry. So in stage one, stage two, and stage three, the unlock process happened. Now, there are some reports on World Bank on GDP of India, and it has been expected, as far as global economic prospects reports are concerned, it is expected that India GDP it can contract by 3.21% in 2020-21. There might be a recovery of 3.1% in 21-22. Again, in 2021-22, GDP might be lesser. See that it is not easy to come out of that particular situation and to be like a phoenix. So it is going, definitely it is going to. Is it happening with India only, or it is happening with almost all countries? Yes, all countries, even developed country, undeveloped country, they're facing the issues. Now, what does it means? That if there is a contraction in GDP, it will, of course, it is going to result in less incomes, job loss. There will be low purchasing in the hands of people. Power is less. Demand for goods and services is going to go down. There might be the sales or the production. So this contraction is going to impact adversely. But as far as the impact of the contraction is concerned, the impact cannot be same for all the sectors, all the states, and on-site states. Now, where or what we can expect, how you can predict. As far as the future scenario is concerned, it has been said that Goldman Sachs and World Bank have report that world economic growth, the rate might be negative to 3%. And if we consider India's growth rate with that too with world economic growth rate, and it might be merely 1.5 to 16%. So how economy can come out of this particular situation? Now you may have different type of recovery. You may have V-type shape. Means in V-type shape, what happens that as far as V is concerned, that economy goes down and it recovers very fast. So as far as the recovery of the economy is concerned, you can have a V-shaped recovery. So that is, it is going down, and again from this particular point or this particular point, that can come back or that can recover very easily. But it might not be possible. You can again have a U-shape, that economy goes down, and after going down, it stays over there for a long or some period, and after that it recovers. So economy can have a U-shaped recovery. Again, there's a very bad situation that you can have a L-shaped recovery. In L-shaped recovery, it happened that it has been shown over here that in L-shaped recovery, the economy is impacted by all such factors. It goes down and it takes more time. It stays over there for a long, and after that slowly it comes down, and you may have W-shaped recovery also. As far as experts are concerned, statisticians are concerned, they believe that in India you can observe or you can have U-shaped recovery, and this particular recovery may take 6 months to few years to come back to the normal position. Now, how to overcome that? We have discussed about the crisis. Now, from that crisis, how you are going to manage the crisis? What will be the crisis management? What will be the strategies? What will be the tactics that will be using to overcome this production issues or the situation? Now, as far as policies are concerned, industry, as if the cost has gone up, you have to reduce the cost. And to reduce the cost, industry is thinking for the pay cuts, that will be giving you less salary. We are keeping in the industry. We are not retrenching. You are not removed from the job, but definitely few people may observe that there is pay cut. Labor cost, if we consider the cost of the product or the manufacturing cost of the product, you can have a material cost, you can have a labor cost, and you can have in the expenses. So the labor cost, out of the entire thing or out of the entire cost, the labor cost contribute 20% of the sales cost. So if you have a pay cuts, If you reduces your labor cost, definitely your entire or overall cost of the product is going to be less. So industries, they are very seriously thinking for reducing the salaries or wages of the employees. Now employees will be asked to take a pay cuts and say that on an average, this particular value might be 10%. Even as far as senior employees are concerned, the pay cut might be higher for the senior people, and for workers, laborers, casual workers, that particular pay cut might not be huge, but for senior people, for top level management, the pay cut will be huge. Now, if it happens, that may result in profitability. So when your cost goes down and your selling price remains same, definitely it is going to increase your profitability, your overall profitability of the business. The major sacrifice, see that there are some controllable factors, there are some uncontrollable factors, the transportation cost, the crude oil prices, you could not control. Again, the what will be the raw material cost, the availability of the raw material, the source of raw material, that is beyond your reach. So that is uncontrollable factor. What is within your reach, that is the budget of salary, budget of wages. So industry thinks that employees, if they want to sustain, if the industry want to sustain, they should sacrifice, and till the point of time that industry is normalized, they'll be getting reduced wages or they'll be getting reduced salaries. It is always better option that you having something in your hand. We have experienced that there are many peoples, many laborers, many casual workers, they have entirely lost their unemployment. So it is better to get a salary cut or pay cut instead of a job loss or the retrenchment. There are few measures as far as management is concerned. You can have a research and development that what are the changing demands of the people, and accordingly you can design your goods. You can have some affordable product, so that if the product is available, if the product is affordable, people will go for it, and if people go for it, definitely the demand will increase and industry may come to the normal position. Now you may produce locally, but while producing locally you have to think it globally. So your product should be of international quality. You have to think of the, because see that in your local area, definitely you're going to face a competition from international producer, international manufacturer. And even if you are selling abroad, again you have to compete with the product that has been manufactured in India as per the international standard. So you have to make sure that whatever goods you are producing, it should be of a very good quality, it should be of international quality, so that only you can sustain. See that as far as TQM or total quality management concerned, it is not one day activity. You have to improvise your quality each and every day. So there should be continuous improvement in your quality. If your product is quality, definitely it will improve your goodwill, it will improve your brand, and that will result in high sales or high turnover. So that the technology changes every now and then. You have to manufacture your goods with the help of technology. That the goods that are manufactured manually and that the goods that are manufactured with the help of technology, definitely the quality of the, because machines don't get tired, they work continuously. You can have more accuracy as far as machines are concerned. So it may happen that overall cost of the technology might be very huge, but if we consider the long run, definitely the technological advancement will make the situation better. Wherever possible, idle time can be reduced, machine idle time can be reduced, labor idle time can be reduced. Again, waste can be minimized, some sale of scrap can take place, you can have byproduct. So this is how you can culture product. You should have a new PLC, that is new product strategy, and you have to consider the PLC, that is product life cycle. The product might be in introduction like a human life, even product has its own life, that you have your introductory stage, you have your growth stage, you have your maturity stage, and after that you have to decline. So for how much time the product is going to be in the market, that PLC should be considered, and accordingly considering the product life cycle, the new product strategy should be considered. Then there should be a brand loyalty. A brand loyalty should be considered, that people, the quality of the product should be such that people will always consider about your brand and they'll stick to your brand. Certain goods like healthcare, insurance, etc., it may happen that the adverse situation that people may get concerned about the health, and the positive impact or positive effect of the COVID situation, that the healthcare services and the insurance companies, they have observed that their sales, their turnover has gone up. There might be a social cause. You have to be in touch with the society. You have to do something for the society. And if it happens, it creates a brand. It's create a goodwill for your product. We have seen that there are many Indian manufacturers, Indian industrialists. They're coming forward. They're helping country. They're helping nation. They're donating thousands and crores. We have seen that Honorable Sri Sir Ratan Tata, Azim Premji, Anandji Mahindra, Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani, and many such people have contributed crores of rupees in this situation. Definitely, there are some people who are going to consider this, that these people have helped the nation in the crisis situation. So when it comes to buying, when it comes to purchasing, definitely that brand goodwill, that particular thing is going to come in the mind, and people are going to go for the Swadeshi products. So you have to compare, you have to see that there is a difference between being industrialist and being businessman. So the businessman always thinks about the profitability and profits, but the industrialist always think that how much employment I can provide, how much contribution to the overall development of the country I can have. So that particular nature, that particular attitude a person or the businessman should have, that he should think from the angle of the industrialist. So these are the references that I have used, and there are some reports that I have used. I've been provided a time of 50 minutes. I have taken 1 extra minutes, and the session is open for question and answer. Thank you.
Yeah, sir, it's very nice and enlarging sessions. I have one question. That one is forwarded by the one of our participant, and that one is, just a second, sir. Sir, how Atmanirbhar Bharat affects MSME and our Indian industrial revolution?
Okay. See, sir, we are dependent on foreign countries. Say, let us take example of semiconductor. Even we are shifting towards green energy. We will be having cars that are bikes that will run on battery, or that will run on solar. But are we self-sufficient? So if we are considering Atmanirbhar Bharat, if we are able to manufacture, if we are able to manufacture our own batteries, own solar panel, definitely we won't be paying anything on our foreign, balance of trade and balance of payment. So the foreign exchange will be saved, and definitely the localized people will be getting employment and will be self-sufficient. So Atmanirbhar Bharat, and even it is not a responsibility of the government and industrialists, but even aside of your Atmanirbhar Bharat, there should be a movement for Swadeshi also, I think.
Okay, fine, sir. Sir, this is not question, but I observe in the market recently, since last 6 to 8 months, the automobile sectors are suffering from the semiconductor chips, if you're aware of it, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and that impact, it will be came after 7 to 8 months in our Indian economy, in our Indian industrial automobile sector.
Yes.
So how that industrial and manufacturing units can cover up that shortage, because of demands are nowadays it will be increasing, and that due to that shortage of the semiconductor chips, the waiting list of the customers day by day, it will be increasing. Like I just give one, I just visited one showroom at that moment. That Ertiga car waiting list is more than 1 hour, and nowadays the people are never take the booking also. So what the steps the people are take in their industrial manufacturing units, and the people are sort out these issues, sir?
Okay, so sir, we are greatly dependent on China for as far as computer peripherals are concerned, the processors are concerned. Now there are 2 things, that is availability of the cheap labor, that people in China, they work for 10 hours, 12 hours. So the manufacturing cost, the purchasing goods, means in economy, there is a concept of economies of large scale. So they are purchasing goods at large scale. If there is an Indian manufacturer who manufactures like Micromax, a mobile, so he'll be that Micromax might purchase, say, as far as processors are concerned, 5 lakh processor, 10 lakh processor. It happened China, they purchase the processors in crores. So unless and until we start our own unit, See that if we consider even a car, that Ertiga car, you can manufacture your own engine, you can have your wheels and other component, but the functioning of the car are concerned, some functionality, some utility are concerned, you need to have the microprocessor. If it is not available in your country, if you are dependent on the import, so unless and until you start manufacturing, definitely it is not going to happen in 1 or 2 months. Government has to take initiative. Government has to give some concession. Government should have favorable policies, and those manufacturers want to come forward. Though a Maruti or Tata or a Honda, they are automobile giants. They're manufacturing automobile component. But even if they want to start, they have to collaborate with some other industry. And if it is possible for us to manufacture our own processor, own chips, definitely it is going to happen. But it requires support from people at large, support from government, and the financial assistance for that purpose. Unless and until we start our own manufacturing, that is not going to happen. Still, if we are dependent, definitely the demand, market sources, even the forces, even the shortage, that is going to impact. Even we have observed, sir, in this computer field, that the laptops that were available at 40 or 45,000, that has gone to 50, 55 or 60,000 even. So that is going to happen unless and until we are dependent on us. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, fine, sir. Yes, sir. Perfectly, sir. So if any participant have any queries, so feel free to ask on this platform. Is there any query? Okay, sir. So it's a very interesting and very knowledgeable sessions. Which one is very helpful to our students also. And at the end of this webinar sessions, I would like to thank to you, sir, on behalf of the Parul University Faculty of Commerce, Dean Dr. Ajay Trivedi sir sites, and entire family of the Faculty of Commerce. I heartily thanks to you for this wonderful webinar, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sir.